Your vibration is the drum. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. Your unique sound is your unique tone in which you harmonize with the entire universe. And nervous system regulation is the way of which you can put yourself in the authentic tone of which everything can communicate to you. Everything is supposed to communicate to you of how you can go to the next level. But the key is you being your unique, authentic self or your unique sound or tone. Even if you look at the universe, the name itself means one song or universe. And your entire journey here is a reflection of your unique song that you're playing, your unique expression, which creates a sound. And nervous system regulation, when you become more coherent, this cuts off all the noise that are not of you, all these programs that are not aligned with your intent, all these particular distractions. And when you cut off all that noise, now you become more clear and relaxed. Just like if you look at water when it's still, you can see through a lot more clearly. But when the waves are crashing, it's a lot more difficult to see what's underneath that water. It's the same thing with your mind. When you calm your mind by letting go of all the noise and you really lock in, it becomes a lot more easier to get communication from your higher self of where you need to go. This is why it's also important for you to have time with yourself. When you have time with yourself, that's also another way of you putting yourself in coherence, because you're not having all this noise around you, everybody's perspective, everybody else's mindset. No, you're communing with yourself, which is also communing with God, right? And now you have that clear signal of what you really want in your life, what's really for you. So your highest ideal time cycle corresponds to your highest regulated state, as I said. And nervous system regulation opens the way. It is the way and it opens the way. So the more regulated you are, the more you're automatically going to be at a higher timeline, because you're going to make better decisions. You're going to be more clear. Your mind's going to be more calm, so it's going to see things that was always there the whole time, right? Instead of you always being in fight or flight mode, just trying to survive, now you're thriving. So that's what happens when you are playing at your unique tone, right? You're not always trying to distract yourself with things that are not of you, and you get yourself out of that sympathetic nervous system all the time. It's there for a reason, but it's not there for you to be in that all the time, because now what happens is you're locking yourself in a cycle every time you fixate yourself into a sympathetic nervous system, because it's just trying to survive. But as humans, we got to think higher than just surviving. We need to be thriving. We need to be building, creating our reality. And all this comes from the parasympathetic nervous system, or your higher mind, your higher faculties. So everything is for a purpose, but just know that when you are regulated, now you become more clear. And this is an excellent thing that I drew that corresponds to what I'm talking about. See, the middle right here is nervous system regulation, and these circles are corresponding to timelines of which you jump when you're regulating. So the medium this is the medium of you jumping to higher versions of yourself. So this is why it's important to journal every day, to reflect, have time with yourself, take a warm bath, to meditate, have your breathing exercises, time in nature, doing what you love, which is very important because it's puts your heart in coherence, and playing music, and also listening to music with real instruments, not just this digital stuff. Real guitar, real drums, not everything that's digitalized. It will put yourself in the right coherent tune for yourself.